Hello makers, welcome to this fourth part of the tutorial for the scissor arm. In this one we're gonna be working on creating the one of the end pieces, or rather a new gripper for scissor arm using Tinkercad. Now why do we use Tinkercad? I basically like the idea of you kind of like creating a sketch or a drawing or even using a photo from on that you find online to create part of the shape of what you want to have at the other end of the scissor arm. So in this case, the first thing we're gonna do is to go to scissor arm, select the link, and we're basically gonna export this. Remember the name, Part Studio number 1, link. The format is STL, units are millimeters, and resolution should be medium. Hit OK. So now that we have this piece, we're gonna go to Tinkercad. You know how to log in. Open a new space, work plane. I'm gonna go ahead and call it T-Rex scissor arm. And in here, I'm gonna import that piece that we brought from the from Onshape. The idea is that we're gonna import it just as it is, so we don't mess up with the measurements. And this will be very important because the only reason we're bringing this link from Onshape is because we want it to fit the rest of the scissor arm. So we better adjust whatever we have at the end of this. We are using an original part, like this original part coming from Onshape. So in here, now that we have this 3D model of a piece, I'm gonna look for a photo. So previously I looked for a T-Rex skull silhouette, and I really like these two images because they're separate. You can see the top of the skull that's separate from the bottom, so that will be helpful. So let's say I save this. You can right click this, say image as, whatever file it gives you. So I save that file, and then I use an online tool to convert whatever type of file the image is to SVG. SVG is a type of format that is also used for laser cutting, and Tinkercad can read SVGs. It cannot read most of the other, or cannot read other picture files or formats, but SVG it definitely can do. So here I pretty much uploaded that T-Rex image. Let me select it right here. And we're gonna convert it to SVG. So this is an online, this is a website. You can find them just by, I don't know, looking for image to SVG converter. And there are others, but at least that one worked for me. So now that this conversion is completed, I click download. I have an SVG file in my downloads folder, and in here I'm able to also import this part. Now as you can tell, the dimensions are pretty big, so what I'm gonna do is just to scale this to, let's say, a 10%. Maybe we're still gonna need to modify this, but right now let's hit import. Cool. And now it's time to assemble this. So how are we gonna do that? Well, you can tell already that this almost fits perfectly. I may want to produce a copy of this to join it to the bottom part of the skull. So I'm just gonna duplicate this. And then I'm also gonna duplicate this piece, but knowing that this one is gonna be joined to the bottom part. So now we have to use some shapes as holes in order to delete what we don't want from the other jaw. For example, in here, I may want to move this a little bit down. We're trying to delete what's in there. So let's see, let's join these three pieces together. Let's see if it's perfect. It kind of is. It has a little thing in here, but I don't think it's gonna affect it that much. And then, just as we did that, we're gonna repeat this for the bottom part. I don't know what happened to my computer, but let's see. Maybe that'll be okay. So let's join these three pieces. I'm gonna try to reload this page. I'm not sure why it's not working as intended, but this shouldn't be such an issue. Let's see, let's wait and see. Cool. So if you're wondering how this is gonna work, well, notice that we didn't modify at all these pieces, and you know, here is kind of easy to just click in here, click one of these pieces and modify the measurements. Try not to. So it's try not to modify the measurements of this, so we don't have to run into problems assembling the whole thing. So I rotated this piece a little bit just so you to know how it's gonna open and close. And we close it. Gonna try to match the circles, so it's gonna close something like that. Now, of course, now that we have the scissor link available in here, you don't have to stick with bringing this from an image. You can pretty much just do anything you want. I'm gonna bring the link again. So you know. Oh, by the way, the first thing you must do is just to put it in the right position. Notice that I rotated 90 degrees, and then here I'm gonna lower it all the way to the bottom. There we go. And at the end of the day, if you end up wanting to do like a little sketching here, let's say you want to do like a hand. This is a terrible hand, but it goes to say that from here, the only thing I would do is just kind of like to fill these holes, so the sturdier the prey is, the better. And of course, if you have a better idea on like how to fill up these holes, you can do so too as well. There's our tiny gaps in here, where you might want to bring up some of these pieces, kind of like to fill those holes within. Or in the same tool, the scribble tool, you can also select this option where everything that you kind of create, it's already filled. And I think this one is even terrible. Looks even worse than the previous one, but you know, we're trying things out. So there you have it. This is totally optional for you guys. Please do whatever you like to do. If you want to incorporate some other basic shapes, if you want to incorporate, of course, another picture rather than the T-Rex, do so as well. But make it your own. In the case of the T-Rex, I'm gonna end up with 2 different files. But in the case of, let's say, the hand, maybe I could just do the single one, similar to the handle, and then just cut it twice with the laser cutter later on. So go ahead, create your own projects. This part could also be used for making your own handle in case you don't want to stick to the handles examples that we did on Onshape. So up from here, do whatever you want in order to create your own version of the scissor arm. Make it fun, make it your own. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions during the class or through email. Thank you. I'll see you next class.